Day 6, January 6th, love or lust, Genesis 34:2-3. And when Shechem the son of Hamor, the Hivite, prince of the country, saw her, he took her, and lay with her, and defiled her. And his soul clave unto Dinah the daughter of Jacob, and he loved the damsel, and spake kindly unto the damsel. Genesis 34:2-3. After departing from his uncle Laban, Jacob made his way to the land of Shechem, a low-lying fruitful area between Mount Ebal and Mount Gerizim. He purchased a small plot of land from Hamor, the ruler in that country, and pitched his tent in Shalem, a city of Shechem. Upon arriving in the land of Shechem, Jacob's daughter Dinah became curious about the local inhabitants. So, she went out from her family to see the women of the land. Going out alone proved to be a mistake, for Shechem the son of Hamor the Hivite, prince of the country, saw her, he took her, and lay with her, and defiled her. Genesis 34:2. Following his sin with Dinah, Shechem asked his father Hamor to go to Jacob to request that they be married. When Hamor went to Jacob, Dinah's brothers were also there and became enraged, hearing of how Dinah had been defiled. Hamor and Shechem attempted to appease them by offering to pay any required dowry for her, but Dinah's brothers remained angry. It is then that they hatched a deceitful plot to take revenge upon Shechem. The brothers told Shechem that, if they would be circumcised, then they could marry among each other. Hamor returned to tell Shechem, and they both were pleased with the agreement. So they went to the gate of their city and spoke to all of the men. These men are peaceable with us, therefore let them dwell in the land and trade therein. For the land, behold, it is large enough for them. Let us take their daughters to us for wives, and let us give them our daughters. Only herein will the men consent unto us for to dwell with us, to be one people. If every male among us be circumcised, as they are circumcised, shall not their cattle and their substance and every beast of theirs be ours? Only let us consent unto them, and they will dwell with us. Genesis 34:21-23. With these words, Shechem and Hamor convinced the men of their city to be circumcised, but they were unaware of the evil plot in the minds of Dinah's brothers. On the third day after the men of Shechem were circumcised, 2 of Dinah's brothers, Simeon and Levi, came to their city with their swords ready, desiring blood for the crime against their sister. With all of the men still in pain, the 2 brothers seem to have had little difficulty in slaying the men of the city. Then, they not only took back their sister, but also took what they wanted from the city as the spoils of their bloody rampage. They took sheep, oxen, donkeys, all of their wealth, and even their wives and children. Genesis 34:25-29. What can we expect to learn about love from a story filled with so much sin and death? Keeping in mind that true love is expressed by obedience to God, it is readily apparent that Shechem's love was a warped love. Shechem's love for Dinah was born from the desire to gratify his sexual lusts. Almost as soon as he laid eyes on her, he desired her, and almost immediately he took her for himself to do with her as he pleased. This is the pattern of all sin, for every man is tempted, when he is drawn away of his own lust, and enticed. Then when lust hath conceived, it bringeth forth sin, and sin, when it is finished, bringeth forth death. James, chapter 1:14-15. We know that Shechem's love was a carnal love, a love which was not love, for true love seeketh not her own. 1 Corinthians 13:5. When we look at Shechem's behavior, we see a love that pursued its own desire without any thought for anyone else, especially not for the best interest of Dinah. So far from being an object of love, Dinah became a victim of rape. She became a victim of Shechem's fleshly lusts, lusts which objectified her, and thus dehumanized her, esteeming her with no more value than a glutton esteems the food upon which he gorges himself. If Shechem had truly loved Dinah, he would have loved her by serving her best interest, cherishing her, and having a mind to give himself to her in marriage before taking her purity from her. If he had truly loved her, he would have desired to keep her from any shame among her people, and consequently would have made every effort to honor the culture and religion of her people. If he had truly loved her, he would have considered the potential harm which violating her might do to her family. Out of love for Dinah, he would have desired the best of relations between her and her family, and would have avoided being a cause of turmoil between them. But Shechem displayed none of the selfless and thoughtful characteristics of true love. His love was debased, animalistic, beastly, and altogether abominable. When we look around in our modern world, we can still see much of Shechem's love. It seems that to many people, love is equivalent to sexual gratification. Love happens when people have sex. Thus, it is often called making love. But when love is reduced to the fulfilling of sexual appetites, the entirety of its true meaning is lost. To countless people, Their love for their partner directly corresponds to the gratification of their own desires. They might deny that their love only exists because they get what they want, but watch what happens when their desires go unfulfilled. Watch what happens when their partner stops meeting their expectations. Watch what happens when they begin to feel unsatisfied in the relationship. Suddenly, they begin to fall out of love. They begin to think to themselves, this relationship just isn't working for me anymore. The key words here are, for me. The love seems to be gone because the love was dependent upon the gratification of their own desires. It was nothing more than Shechem's love, a love that ultimately cares only for itself. Sure, people will bend over backwards for their loved one, but they expect a return on their investment, and when their desires are left unmet, the relationship soon becomes, in their mind, unsustainable. If it were true love, which doesn't seek its own, their attitude would be entirely different. For rather than seeing their relationship as a means of self-gratification, they would see it as an opportunity to love truly, and to love truly is to love someone through their faults without respect to self-gratification. It is to be so preoccupied with serving that all things self are forgotten in the delight of that service. This to the extent that the delight of serving is far surpasses any delight of self-gratification. But in today's society, very few know anything of the delight found in true love. Instead, like Shechem, they live to have their desires, and to live that way is to ride the waves of misery and turmoil which a pleasure-seeking life brings. Whenever we are chasing our lusts, they always cause us to sin against God. For Shechem, his sexual lust caused him to ignore his own conscience and to defile Dinah, but for us, it may play out differently. Maybe we lust after money, and by chasing that lust we lie and cheat and steal. Maybe we lust after the praise of men, and in our pursuit of praise, we compromise our faith, doing things that we wouldn't otherwise do to have the spotlight. Maybe we lust after possessions, and in our efforts to obtain the nice house, the fast car, and the newest toys, we withhold good from the needy. Maybe we lust after success, sacrificing time and energy for the sake of our desire to be someone special, but ignoring the state of our own souls. In every case, people who pursue their lusts are living a lie. They have set their desires upon vanity, upon passing pleasures, which are of no ultimate value. They live by the words, make sure you get what you want out of life. But like Shechem, they are short-sighted and foolish, not considering their God, their souls, or those who are destroyed by them in their pursuit of insatiable lusts. God has shown us something here in this murky valley of human sinfulness. Have we not also seen something of ourselves in Shechem? Have we not also lived for our own desires? When we thought we loved, was it not lust? We must come out of this place, for it is said that many travelers have been lost forever in this fog. Come on now, we must depart and ascend to a higher place,